Hello guys and welcome to another episode of the Wild West Gamer with me, the Wild West Gamer, here in the Gaming Grotto. And today I bring you a video game review of one of the best games ever. Oh yeah, one of the best games ever, and certainly of this generation. And I'm talking about none other than Far Cry 3. Oh yes, this baby is amazing. This is Skyrim for anyone who can't stand hardcore, well, not hard, RPGs or dragons and swords and sorcery. And loves that all-out action and gunplay. This is it for you. And in fact, it's a game for anyone, to be quite frank. It is so good that regardless of whether or not you hate first-person shooters, you're going to actually love this game. Seriously. This is so good. Far Cry 3 is one of those games which I was interested in from the word go. I've been a big Far Cry fan since Far Cry Instincts, which I got for the original Xbox. I then got that again for the Xbox 360 when I had a 360. I got Far Cry 2 for the 360, and then I bought it again for the PlayStation 3 when I picked up a PlayStation 3. So naturally, when I heard about Far Cry 3 and saw some of the footage of the gameplay, I was very excited. And why? Because finally, and this is something I love it when developers do this, Ubisoft has learned. They have listened to what people have said, they have read what critics have had to say about the previous games, and they have taken all of that back with them, and they have made this the complete Far Cry experience. They have taken all of the gung-ho, awesome, full-on in-your-face action from Far Cry 1, and they've taken the hardcore survival elements from Far Cry 2, and they've mashed them together with a really fantastic cast of characters and story, and created Far Cry 3, the ultimate Far Cry experience. It is simply, it almost is flawless. It really is. And in fact, to be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned, apart from it not being real life, which I'm kind of glad for, to be honest with you, I really can't fault it. I really can't. I'm really trying to think of bad points about this game, and I just can't. I first saw some footage released at it could have been E3, or it was perhaps just a reveal by Ubisoft themselves. Regardless, but immediately I was like, wow, okay, this game is really setting itself up to do something different. We returned once again to a tropical location, which I was quite glad for, because it meant more colour, more variety, a lot more of a different kinds of terrain and environments all in one sort of location, as opposed to Africa, where it's really just sort of the same browns and greys and greens, which is kind of bizarre. I know Africa in the Far Cry 2 game in Africa, you go from jungles to savannas to desert, but to be fair, the colour palettes still seem to be quite samey, and the game was incredibly brutal, which put a lot of people off. I like that hardcore element, I have to say, but after a while, even I did find that it started to piss me off if you drove 22 miles to get to an objective just to get within a meter or so of it and get popped by someone. That pissed me off, especially when you had to go all the way back and do it all over again. So yeah, this game, back to the tropics, back to the tropical island, and yeah, it's fantastic. Going back to seeing the demo, like I say, I saw it in a tropical location. I was like, good, we're back there. Brutal takedowns immediately. I was like, oh yeah, visceral takedowns. That's quite cool. I'm liking that. Some of the dropping down on enemies, taking their knives, throwing them at enemies across from that. A really nice context sensitive cover mechanic. He brings the gun up when he's close into cover, and if you just press fire, then he's just gonna spray some fire over. I like that. I like this dark story it hinted at, especially with Vass. We meet Vass, who is an incredibly scary and dangerous character, as well as incredibly charismatic. There's something you really get to like about him. I think it's just because he's a very good villain. And he's very fun to play against. And then there was some of the absolutely awesome action, as well as that rather tense ending to the demo of Vass finding you amongst the wreckage of this helicopter you've tried to escape on, and asking you the question he did at the beginning of the demo, which is, do you know the definition of insanity, or did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? Which is, of course, as Albert Einstein said, repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And that really made you think, what was this game setting itself up to be? is Jason the character at the time. I don't think you knew his name was Jason Brody. No, I think they told you actually. Sorry, that's a lie. They told you his name was Jason Brody, the character you played as. And to my mind, that set up the game. The whole way I saw the demo as being this game about, really is, killing all these people, trying to get to Vass and trying to take your vengeance on him for whatever reason at the time it was for. Only, really never really gaining anything from it. And perhaps becoming slightly insane from that fact that you were chasing this boogeyman, this ghost, because you're, really, whatever Vass had done to you to make you have to take up a gun and fight him, you could never undo. And trying to fix something that was irreparable was, insane, was crazy. So I saw the demo in a really quite deep and profound way. I really thought that Ubisoft was trying to do something special. And I was right. I've been paying very close attention to it, seeing more and more gameplay, and then it finally came out. Now, when it came out, I didn't have the moolah to buy it. I was really gutted about that because, there was loads of other games at the time that came out. It came out in October of 2012, if I'm correct. And around that time, there was so many good games coming out that I just was like, well, I couldn't have got, any of them at all. So, it was ultimately gutting not to miss out on that whole period. But a couple of weeks ago, well, probably over a month now, finally got my hands on it, got straight home, whacked it on, been playing it when I can, and a couple of days ago I finally completed it. But I wasn't happy. I had the co-op mode to do and I had the multiplayer mode to do. And like I say, wow, just wow. This game is so good. It is just phenomenal. The fact that Ubisoft, for the price of £50 or $60 or however much it is, you are getting almost more than your money's worth. Because not only do you get an incredibly full campaign filled with not only an amazing single-player campaign, you also get bonus missions, you get assassination missions, hunting missions, driving missions, exploration, loads of little hidden artifacts to find. And once you've done all of that, you can then carry on the island and go hunting for anything you missed. There's outposts to capture, radio towers to unlock weapons. There's a RPG element to upgrading your equipment by killing animals, hunting animals. And this isn't just a matter of going out in the jungle and spraying it full of lead. You have to hunt these creatures because they're just as dangerous. They are fucking crazy how dangerous these animals are. And Ubisoft, most importantly for the campaign, have created this island which feels alive. It feels like a real island. The point that I always think makes this best is the fact that I was playing about 10 minutes of the game. I was barreling through the jungle to one of my first objectives. I had a machine gun in my hand. I thought I was an ultimate badass. I got 2 bars of health. Because that's how much you start with. Very, very, early on in the game, not nearly as much, not nearly as powerful as I would be by the end of the game. And there's me in my arrogance, storming through the jungle, thinking I'm gonna, take everyone's name and hand them their ass. Run down by a river, bam, croc about 10 feet long, flies out the water, grabs me by the leg, drags me into the water, and for the next 2 minutes I'm fighting this thing to the death, battering it. It's all it's a QTE, but to be fair, because you're in this, it sucks you into this first person world. And it does it so well, it implements it so well. You really believe you are Jason Brody, so it is a fight to the death, and your heart's going, the adrenaline's pumping, and of course, I'm fairly good at the old button mashing. I'm no stranger to it, and of course I won. But this thing took down like a bar of my life, so I was now 1 bar. That was it, 1 bar, and I was dead. I had no medicines on me. I hadn't been paying attention to harvesting stuff in the jungle. I scavenged what I could off of the crocodile, a bit of leather, and then I very coyly swam across the river, got out on the bank, and was like, fuck. Here's me just flying through the jungle thinking the only thing I've got to worry about is these psychos with guns, and the jungle's trying to kill me. Christ, everything in this game gets pissed off with you. Whether it's a tiger or a pirate or a freaking pig. Even pigs will pick on you if you get too close to them. But fortunately, to stop anyone going, well, that sounds exactly like Far Cry 2, the entire world's against you. Fortunately, in this one, in Far Cry 3, there is the Rakia. and there's this whole, you become a member of the I guess, yeah, you become a member of the Rakyat. You become a warrior amongst them, and they are always driving around the island, so don't worry about that. They're always, they're always hopping it around in the areas you've liberated, and they'll fight the pirates as well. So you don't have to worry about them, being, it's a one-man army sort of thing. And so yeah, there's all of that. There's all of that in the game. This incredibly rich, vibrant world which is given to you. There's also co-op. There's a co-op mode, and I played this with one of my mates, Mr. Chris. I played it with him. We busted out a few hours on it, and that was really enjoyable. If I'm honest, it's probably the weakest part of the package, but still, right? I mean, you can be split screen, or you can do it over the internet, over PS Network or Xbox Live or wherever it is you're using, and that's amazing as well. That is really good fun. Not as polished as the first person. The single player campaign, because in the co-op it's very linear. You only get literally sort of, you're walking through the levels, but they give you the impression they're quite big and varied, and there's a lot to do in them. There are different bits. There's like bits where you're sniping, and there's bits where it's all and out fighting. There's defending someone while he's repairing something. There's a bit of driving. So there's a bit of everything in there, and it is good fun. I would say that the weapon loadouts before you start every mission for co-op could be a little bit more expanded upon. You get really a very fixed set of weapons, and then after that, it's, if you want something new, it's up to you to pick it off a dead enemy, and they tend to only have like AKs, maybe a PKM, shotgun or something like that. Nothing very great. So I would say that perhaps that could have done with, if it was going to be very linear based, just giving them more guns to use, or perhaps the entire roster of guns, or to unlock them. But all in all, it's still good fun. You get 4 characters. Each one is fleshed out and given its own story about why they're on the island as well. There's its own independent story, again a revenge-based story, but still it's nice to play as 4 characters who aren't as straight-laced as Jason Brody. They're all characters rather murky pasts. And it's fun to play as them, because the banter and the wit between them is it's really good. It's really good fun. And so yeah, that is certainly worth a look in when you get the game. And then finally, multiplayer. Multiplayer is is just fantastic. I'm when it comes to games and I see multiplayer, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake! All right, fine, let's have a look. Oh, look, a massive disappointment. I very rarely tend to be surprised with multiplayer. After Halo, after Call of Duty, it seems that a lot of multiplayers just seem to copy exactly what has been done before. But multiplayer does do some different stuff. It does have some good fun. It's apart from, again, the fact that the levels are all really good fun, there seems to inadvertently be this draw to work together as a team. I don't know how it happens, and the teams are quite nice and big. 12 on each team? There's a lot of players on each team. It could be 12. I've not counted. I just want to get in and get stuck in. But you just seem to end up working together. I mean, you can run off and try and do your own thing, but it very rarely seems to work, or is as satisfying. It's a lot more fun when everyone comes together in these massive heated gunfights. Also, what's really nice is that the sound and all the sound effects are really well done. If you're going to base a multiplayer around combat, you have to make the weapons feel really enjoyable to use. This gun does that. It really takes into account distance with regard to sound. So if you're right up in someone's face firing on full auto, it's going to be very loud and brash. But if you're distant, it's going to be that nice sort of documentary style sort of cracking effect, that sort of pop and cracks like you would expect in like a war zone. What's really cool is when you fire an RPG, and this is awesome. If you're near it, if you don't get killed by it, if you're near it, you are aware of this almighty flash of flame and smoke, and there's, the ground shakes and your views, you're sort of like blurred by it. That's cool. Little things like that really do make you go, Jesus, there's danger, there's real danger in this. And that's how it should be. Multiplayer shouldn't be something which just, it's just multiplayer nowadays makes you feel like a robot with a gun. It really doesn't feel like you're actually experiencing it. This does. It's very visceral when you sneak up and do a machete kill. You're very aware when bullets are pinging off the walls around you. The guns sound nice out in the open as well as indoors. There's like a nice echo effect. There's that nice twang off of bows and that nice screech as arrows fly through the air. And like petrol bombs, likewise as well. You really, really learn. You really learn to survive in this game. That's the real element of this game. It's survival, and this game enforces it so strongly. But it doesn't push it in your face. You just find you naturally do it, and you learn little tricks. In multiplayer, I'll hide in a bush. If I hear guys coming, if I know it's just me and I've got a couple rounds left, I'm really low on it, I'll hide in a bush. Yeah, I'm just going to sneak in that bush and hide. Let them run by and live to fight another day. It doesn't make you get into combat situations. It doesn't make you have to fight the enemies. Your enemy, the other enemy team you're fighting. It doesn't make you fight them if you don't want to fight them, if there's a situation depending. That sounds weird. I'm not saying that, the game is still to kill the other team, but what I'm saying is that, it's easy to run away, to escape, and to then, link back up with your team, perhaps, scavenge your weapon, and, then take the fight back. Whereas in games like Call of Duty, like Halo, it's very aware that you are simply meant to go from point A to point B, kill the enemy, and then get killed in turn, and then start over again. This game really, rewards you for thinking smart. It gives you the option of stealth kills. It gives you the option of, using, long distant weapons and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's very aware that, it keeps it all balanced and even. It's just fantastic. It's just really, really, really good fun, and I'm really glad that. And I never found a situation where there's people camping or there was people exploiting weaknesses in the game. Everyone plays very fair. Likewise, you can add mods to all your weapons. A lot more. You only get a choice of two slots, I think, for most weapons like assault rifles, light machine guns, etc. Then pistols and some other weapons only get one. So you have to think carefully. But what's nice is all of the upgrades. It isn't just a matter of sticking on a new scope or something. It's perhaps having hollow rounds. Having like sort of rounds that inflict more damage. Hollow point, I think they called it, something like that. Or like sort of like in fire rounds or something like that. Putting loading your buckshot up with something like phosphorus or something like that. All that sort of stuff. There's loads of different things for each weapon. Likewise, you can get it's represented with a paint job on your gun, but it's like a different kind of type of that weapon. I haven't explained that well enough. Basically, you get a paint job, and with it comes some stats. So your damage may be increased, but your rate of fire is slowed, as well as your movement. And there's that payoff whether you want to pay it. And if you apply that to your weapon, likewise that happens. And little things like that modify the gameplay as well as the equipment on your weapons does. And there's this, you can upgrade it as well yourself. You have like light armor, heavy armor, flak vests. You also have support abilities for your team. This can mean, if you want to, you can upgrade. You can give them a temporary boost to their health and their regeneration. Perhaps give them armor, stuff like that. And this is people within a certain radius. Just shit like that is just really awesome. It's just so good, and I like things like that encourage teamwork, and that's what I'm always about in these sorts of games. I can't stand it when you're in this this team-based arena, and there's people running off lone wolf, like, oh, I want to get the best kills. It's like, no. Let's work together and think about this smartly. A really nice addition to multiplayer, and this is what I love. If you get killed by someone, if your team picks you up, heals you, that point is deducted from the enemy team. That doesn't count as a kill, which is a really good incentive to get people to work together, because you're basically, not only can you get points by killing the other team, you also can get points by saving your team. And that too often it happens in these games, like where it's people go down and can ask for help, and people just run by. Now, I'm not saying this didn't happen in this game, but for the majority of it, my team knew that it was best to pick me up instead of, leave me lying. Likewise, I tried to reciprocate. And what's nice is you built this team dynamic. You came together as a team after a couple rounds because people realised that, they were all going to help each other out. And that was just really nice. That was really good to, it was really good to see the game being played how the developers intended it to be played. And so, I really think that's everything with regard to multiplayer. Like I said, a lot of good levels, nice and big. If you buy the game brand new, you'll get the High Tides DLC for free. So there's an incentive. Likewise, on Uplay, when you get some Uplay points, you can unlock another mission in the game. Likewise, some other weapons and stuff like that. Plus, if you get the Survival Edition of Farcry, you can get is it Herc? I think his name's Herc's Monkeys or something like that. Basically, a couple extra missions involving this guy who's training monkeys to carry explosives. So I am doing a segment at the moment, starting today, funnily enough, with Far Cry 3. I should have announced that at the beginning, which is I'm doing a couple of videos up and coming for all my reviews of games which deserve to be bought, which are worth your money. I said about this a couple of videos ago, because, like I said, the big point about this channel was that games need to be worth the money. People, like I said, the economy is not good at the moment. It is in a bad place. A lot of people, need to think very carefully before they splash money down. So, sometimes the best course of action is don't go for those big new releases. Go for the old stuff. Go for retro. Go for games that are for current gen but just been out a couple years. And that's what I'm going to start doing. You could pick this game up now for a reduced price easily. I have seen it as low as £15 in places. I've seen it £21 in places. So you're certainly looking at saving at least half of the original retail price. Likewise, if you did it with trading, I'm sure you'd knock even more off. If you were like me and your wife very kindly donated her Nectar points, you can pick this game up for $4.99. Only then the week afterwards they did a double Nectar points reward thing, so I could have actually picked up this plus Assassin's Creed 3. So I was equally pissed about that, as well as overjoyed that I had the game. That is Far Cry 3. Definitely worth your money. It is a fantastic game. I'm surprised if it doesn't win Best Game, or if it hasn't won Best Game of the Year already. I don't know when they do the award ceremony or whatever it is. This game deserves to get awards. Really does. I know it's got a couple already, but it needs serious recognition. Why? Because in a entertainment industry, which is video games, too many games simply cut and paste the Call of Duty formula. Now, I know this is not a new argument. A lot of people say this, but people are getting bored. They are getting pissed off. It is boring to play a multiplayer first-person shooter, which is exactly the same as Call of Duty, especially if it's not Call of Duty. It annoys me. Battlefield seems to be doing it. Likewise, so does Call of Duty. Guys, you need to innovate. You need to create something new and interesting. This game gives me all of the action, all of the set pieces, all of the fantastic storytelling in a massive open world. And where games like Call of Duty have to force you into these artificial set pieces, you can create your own in this, as well as there being ones that that you come across in the game. They give you a massive open world, to run around, do what you want. Then when you go off into your missions, shit will happen in them. I mean, there was this one where I was sneaking onto this boat to get details on a list of hostages who were about to be sold on the black market as human slaves. As human slaves? Slaves, there's no other kind of slave. Yeah, and you're on this boat, and the boat is blown up whilst you're on it and starts sinking, and you have to swim out of this sinking ship. That's fantastic. That's brilliant. That is so exciting. I mean, it was fantastic in Uncharted 3 when they did that. It's fantastic in this. And what annoys me is that games like Call of Duty and games like Battlefield just seem to think that it is entirely okay to give us these same corridor shooters. No, stop it. With the next Call of Duty, which is Call of Duty Ghosts, and with the next Battlefield, which is Battlefield 4, I want to see something like this. It is not acceptable anymore to simply palm us off with these linear first-person games and then give us this samey multiplayer experience. Do something new. Be the first to do it. You know what you could do? You could set the game in a war zone. You could set it on, perhaps you're in the command center, a couple miles behind the front line. You then go to, you can go round the camp, talk to your commanding officers, go and get intel reports, do this, do that, do this, and then you can go. Then you can select the missions you want to do. You can go out into the area, with a squad. If they want to give you that artificial intelligent squad they always seem to have in these games with you. You can still have them. What's nice is though you could perhaps have the choice to go back to your command base and customize them. Give them different clothing, different tattoos, completely create who they are. And then as you go through the game, giving you different moral choices, different, paths to take, different certain, actions to, choose between. You can, their behavior and their relationship with you will be developed. And in a more interesting way, and there'll be multiple different endings to the game based on what you did during it, and your character, your squad members will react to you in certain different ways. I mean, come on, Call of Duty, come on, Battlefield, come on, these samey first-person shooter games. Do something interesting. This game gives me 2 endings. Yeah, there are 2 endings to this game. So I'm not going to tell you what they are, but both of them feel believable. And I'm going to play through this game again and and pick the other ending when I get there. But the reason I'm going to do that is because I can see how that would come about. Why my character would choose to do that thing, choose that choice. And likewise, the choice I chose, I was happy with because I had been fighting for that outcome. This game makes you want to fight. It makes you want to, save the people you're fighting for, save your loved ones. It wants you to take vengeance upon Vass and Hoyt and all these other horrible characters because, they're so cruel, they're so twisted, and they're so barbaric that you are the only one with the strength to do it. It puts you firmly in the shoes of Jason Brody, and it is fantastic to play as. Yes, Jason Brody has his own character in this, he has his own personality, but you still choose how he expresses that, and it is fantastic. Now, another big draw to this game is, of course, like I said, the characters. I mentioned this before, and I know I'm going on from what I was going to originally be a wrap-up for it, but I need to mention this. The one thing, if it's none of that interests you, which you will love about this game, is the characters. They are fantastic. Everyone in this game is so fun to be around. Of course, I talked about Vass, played by Michael Mando. Now, Michael Mando is a guy who needs to have his career skyrocket. He is such a good actor. No actor, I mean, apart from Heath Ledger as the Joker, no actor has been able to portray a character for me where I've equally gone from, well, this guy is just hilarious, to be going, all right, this guy's fucking seriously mad. He's going to fucking skin me and, rape my dead body. That is how insane Vass is. He would probably eat dog shit, and, makes, Rubik's Cubes out of people's teeth. He's just batshit insane. But for some reason, you go, wow, this guy is hilarious. He's awesome. I could, if it wasn't for the fact he was a mass murdering psychopath, I could hang around with him and have a couple beers. The game is so like that. Likewise, there's a Buck, who is this Australian, this homosexual Australian, psychopath. He's a sadist. Sorry, he's a complete pain freak, and he's got one of your friends hostage. And I'm not going to say who any more than that. Apart from the fact is, every time you don't do what Buck wants, he does stuff to your friend, and your friend's not liking it. Oh yeah, it gets dark in this game, but on a penny's turn, yeah, you're back going, oh my god, this guy is such a character. He's such a meanie, he's so crazy. You're just back like that. Then there's Hoyt. Again, Hoyt is just like, he's this like drug addicted businessman who's selling people on the black market, and that is horrific. But you still, when you sit down and you like talk to him, or any interaction with him, you still kind of go, God, this guy is fantastically evil. He's such a good villain. And you go, I'm going to enjoy killing your ass at the end of this game as vengeance for all the horrific things he's done. Likewise, there's also Sam, who is this German mercenary. Oh my god, he's just fantastic. The best bit in this game, I swear, the bit that made me I've laughed out loud with this game multiple times, but the best bit was you think you're about to sneak into this enemy camp, and Sam just goes, yeah, now it's the time to attack, yeah, and just goes, Blitzkrieg, and just charges in, guns blazing. You're like, fucking element of surprise, I guess. And you're just like, you have no other option but to go after him, firing off rounds after him. It's just insane. This game is so much fun, as well as having one of the best climaxes to it, action set pieces. Just fantastic. So that is literally it now, guys. Far Cry 3, first game on my games worth your money section, which I'll be doing for a couple videos. Is it worth getting? Absolutely yes. Like I say, I don't give scores for games, but if I was to, 10 out of 10. It's got to be fantastic. Everyone who's seen me play it has loved it. Everyone who I know has it loves it. And likewise, of course, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is going to be out soon, which it takes the insanity of this, applies it to the 1980s, and bam, that is what it is. And that looks fantastic as well. So, guys, pick it up where you can, whether it's pre-owned or brand new, whether it's offline, if it's off Steam, or if it's a hard copy like me, or wherever you download your stuff from. Get it. It is certainly, to be fair with you, Assassin's Creed 3 was sort of the big thing that Ubisoft were rocking. I think this bad boy has definitely taken the title as Ubisoft's best game to date. So yeah, Far Cry 3. Pick it up and check it out, guys. Thank you for watching. I know it's been a long video. Please subscribe and leave your messages and your comments, and please like all my videos. Please. I love you. That sounds a bit weird. That went wow. I really opened up then. I love you. God, I love you. First thing you need to know about me, I cannot sexy cry. Most people go like that. Me, I'm like, like that. I'm a full-on crier like that. So now that we know that about one another, I want to see you guys on the flip side. The flip side is that side. The flip side. And so yeah, I'm gonna drink some milk, play on my phone, and do some stuff. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. And blue light.